We've been having a long and interesting, fascinating conversation, and you made a statement to me which I thought was just amazing. When you tell me what you say to people and their reaction.
Well, I'm asked about my preferences, and I tell people that on some days I'm a heterosexual man, and on other days I'm a lesbian woman, because I go back and forth with my presentation. And the first question that those people ask me is, how can you be gay and straight at the same time? And we have to get past those labels, because if we do the math, as a lesbian woman, I want a female partner. As a heterosexual man, I want a female partner. So I'm looking for the same person, and it's all about what I call myself.
That's what people don't understand. People don't understand that a lot of transsexuals are actually heterosexuals, that you were attracted to women when you were a male, and you're still attracted to women, although your social identity has changed to female.
That's right. And it makes people confused, because the labels, because I don't fit into a convenient little box anymore. And trying to apply a label to me, none of them stick to my forehead, so you can't label me, and that gets very difficult.
I think that's very exciting. You don't have to answer this question and tell me if it's none of my business, but legally, what are you?
My driver's license says I'm male, and so that's my legal identity.
So you are just a legal heterosexual running around dressed up like a hot middle-aged lesbian.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. This is really great.
It's been wonderful talking to you. Have a great day.
We're here at Gay Expo in Javits Center, April 2008, and I'm talking to the Renaissance Transgender Association. Why don't you tell me what you're about?
We're a support organization for anyone who's questioning that definition of who they are that they were given at birth. The doctor looks at you and says, you've got an outie, you're a boy, and so you have to behave a certain way and dress a certain way and do certain things and all that, or you're a girl and you have to do that sort of thing. We support everyone who questions that, who isn't sure whether they really want to be a boy or be a girl, or whether they want to be something else entirely.
And where are you located, and how many members do you have?
It would be hard for me to tell you how many members we have. There are 6 chapters currently. Renaissance is headquartered in Pennsylvania. The chapter that I chair is in Poughkeepsie, New York. There are 3 chapters, I believe, in Pennsylvania. There's a chapter in Delaware. There's a chapter in New Orleans, I believe.
And what kind of events do you put on?
Principally, the chapters have local meetings where the chapter members get together, and there's program information. We have speakers come in and talk about different things that are of interest to folks of the transgender persuasion, if you will.
I know someone who has a transgender child. I won't mention their name. You probably know the case, because at 5 they let their child begin dressing as a female, and the state took her away. And then after 2 years they got her back, and now they're homeschooling her, but she's hitting puberty. Yes. And I told the friends of mine that in Thailand, when you are obviously transgendered, what they call lady boys over there, at the age of 13 or 14, they do things hormonally to keep them from developing the beard, the big Adam's apple, the male characteristics that cost a fortune, and very difficult to change after they get embedded.
Oh, yes, and the question becomes, with a child, do you, when they start to reach puberty, do you help them with hormonal suppressants so that they don't develop the secondary sexual characteristics of...
Is that possible in this country? Because I once went to a film thing over at Film Fest here in New York City, and there were people there speaking as transgender activists, and they were talking about, like, well, we want to make sure they were made it like it's something that only adults deal with, in other words, and they didn't get into the issue of when someone is a teenager and developing breasts that they really hate, or an Adam's apple that they really don't want.
Well, there's still, in the medical community, there's still a lot of belief that children, as they hit puberty, aren't responsible enough to make that sort of a decision. When you transition from one gender to another, you do it with the assistance of mental health providers, a psychiatrist, a therapist, an endocrinologist, a physician. And there's a great deal of effort spent to make sure that you know what you're doing, because the feeling is that it's not really a reversible sort of process.
Actually, I taped the Oprah Winfrey interview with a pregnant man.
Oh, yes, I've read about him and heard a great deal.
A very incredible interview. What it was is he was transgender, had his breast removed. He was involved with a woman. He became legally a male, but kept his reproductive capacities as a female. Didn't have, she had no womb, so she couldn't bear a child. And they were a loving couple, been together for 7 years. They wanted to have kids. So he quit testosterone for 2 years and managed to get pregnant one time, and it was a fallopian tube which got stuck. They had to remove one of his fallopian tubes. The second time, using donor sperm, he got pregnant again. And now he's 6 months pregnant. And it was the most amazing program because, you know, this just takes, we live in a society that's so binary in gender. And there, as Martine Rothblatt said to me, I said there are thousands of genders. She said there are millions of genders. And he said, it doesn't bother me being a man who's pregnant. Pregnancy is just a process.
Well, yes, it is. I've had
is that something that maybe some people do consider holding on to their original reproductive organs just in the event they may want to use them even after they socially transition, if that's the right way, or legally transition to being a member of the other sex?
Well, some of that goes back to the idea that our gender binary says that only a female can carry a child, and it says that males can't. And so
biologically, this trans man still had enough that he could quit the testosterone and begin menstruating again, and he became able to carry a child that they wanted.
And true. And now once again, we get into the idea of where your gender identity comes from, and so many people believe that your gender identity comes out of your physical anatomy, and that's not really true. Your identity is how you see yourself, not what body parts you have. That's
what was so charming about him. He said, it doesn't bother me being a man who's pregnant. I remember I mentioned this to a lesbian friend of mine. She said, I'd rather the man have the baby than me.
Oh, I know, and I've had so many women say, you know, if men could have babies, then it would be a painless, easy process. And
But